action. Here's what I want to talk about today. I only have one quote on my wall in my room, and that is to make something from nothing. But I get a lot of questions about this quote from my students and from other teachers, and I just thought I would try and break it down for you so that everyone could kind of understand what I mean by make something from nothing. All right, so the art of making something from nothing means accepting and rising above your so-called limitations, right? And I use very certain words there for a very particular reason. One, is it an art? Yes, it's something that needs to be worked on. It's a craft. It's something that you need to continuously give effort towards to get the maximum benefit out of. And two, so-called limitations, because I don't think all limitations are actually limitations. Some people out there are really in a struggle and they have things that are actually limiting them, but I think that with a change of perspective, you can own that stuff and still crush it without just feeling completely defeated by the things that are going on around you. I think as teachers, a lot of times you can just feel overwhelmed by the plague of limitations that are put upon us, right? From your classroom being too small and your class is too big. There's too many kids in your after school program. There's not enough time in the day. You're teaching too many hours and it doesn't leave enough time to actually help kids. There's not enough parking spaces in the parking lot. You teach from a cart. There's not enough funding. Your funding got cut all of a sudden in the middle of the year. The kids are disrespectful. They fall asleep all the time. No one cares about your class. Special education gets put on the back of the bus. Everyone at school looks at you funny because they think that you're doing too much. They're tired of seeing other people go above and beyond when they just want to kind of ride in the middle. Your school has so many rules you can't even hang a poster on your wall or like put something pretty to make your classroom look like it's somewhere the kids actually want to be. Your principal's mean. No one in the staff is nice. You have no friends at school. Support from administration is something that doesn't even exist. These are all things that you can go on and on and on about. I am not discounting any of them. I don't know you personally probably, and I don't know your story, but what I'd like to offer today is a simple change in perspective that might take some of these things that you think are limitations that might actually help you grow as a teacher. The students are watching me again over there. They're always spying on me through the window. Creepers. Look, the truth of the matter is that what I'm saying here is not new. I didn't make any of this stuff up. I didn't coin any turns of phrase. But, I just think that some things are worth reiterating and saying again. The idea of making something from nothing has been used time and time again. I mean, everyone from Ice-T to the Foo Fighters have said it time and again. And I just like the idea so much that I use it all the time because, to be honest, teaching, you have to make something from nothing all the time. And maybe that doesn't... So to be clear, I'm not talking about students. I'm not saying students are nothing and we're making something out of them. Although, however, I feel a lot of times like I'm nothing and the kids are making something out of me. I also want to say that I realize where I teach is kind of a magical place. I'm allowed to get away with a lot of stuff that other schools aren't allowed to get away with. From painting on my classroom walls to taking class trips to look at graffiti in back alleys of Philadelphia. And so I realize that not everyone has that freedom, but I still don't have all of the freedom that I wish I did because of other limitations, because maybe funding is an issue or room is an issue or access to certain resources is an issue, right? And so I'm under no illusion as to what career I chose. I knew that teaching in Camden and in West Philly was going to be challenging. I knew the kids were going to give me a fight. I knew that funding would be an issue and that all of these other sort of problems were going to occur. So when they did, I freaked out. Sure, I like my routine. I like things to go the way that I want. I like putting a lot of time and effort and thought into something and then having it come to fruition. And when it does not, I freak out. Maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. But if I sit down with my community or if I just get quiet for a moment, I can usually figure out an answer to some of those things that bother me on a day-to-day basis. And so here are just a quick couple of things that were once problems for me and creative ways I figured out how to fix those things. Kids keep falling asleep in your class? Put a little tissue on the end of a stick. Just keep bothering them until they wake up.
Oh, what are you doing? Stop.
And since in high school, sleeping in class can be such a serious plight, you could do this next trick. However, I first want to warn you that make sure you know this child and make sure that your school does not have a problem with this because this doesn't work for everyone. Sometimes, just shoot them with a water pistol.
What are you... I'm wet, Reynolds, I'm wet. Look at... You're wet.
Even after they wake up, it's still fun. A quick story to sort of drive this point home. Several years ago, when I first started teaching in West Philadelphia, I had to share a room in the basement of the school. And so the following year, they told me that they would give me a room, and I was actually gonna have windows and have my own room and be able to decorate however I wanted, and I was super stoked about this. But Then when I got that room, it looked like this. It's the smallest classroom I could have imagined. Look at this thing. You can only have 4 desks going back, only about 5 desks going wide. And where the hell was I going to put a teacher desk in here? And so initially I was really disappointed when I got this room because it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have a much bigger room. I was going to be able to have room for activities and be able to move around with the students and stuff. And I couldn't. After being pissed, I just decided that I was going to make the best of it. That I was going to take this room and make it the best room in the entire school. And that people would walk in and they would be like, man, this is the best room in the whole school. And I would say, you're right. So here's 3 quick things that I did to rise above my so-called limitations. Because I couldn't fit a teacher desk in here, I decided to clean out this old crusty closet and I made an office inside of it. The world's smallest office. Just like that office on The Office.
Your new office. How great is that, right? You're a good kid. You know when it gets bigger once you're in there.
Well, this
Enjoy
is
it.
eye-opening for me.
This doesn't look the way that it did when I was in here. Someone else is in this room now. I apologize if you're watching this and I'm going through your desk, but I just wanted to show this real quick. I found an old countertop in the basement of the school. I cut it to size and threw it in here, put up some bookshelves, put some lights in here. I had a dead plant in here for a while just because I thought that was hilarious. And then on the outside, I had hours of that my office was open. If someone wanted to speak to me, I'd step in the office and then open the door because I thought it was hilarious. If you've seen some of my other videos, you may have seen the hand on a stick. The hand on the stick was created for this room because it was so tiny. It was hard to like squish down these aisles. So I just put this giant hand on a stick, reach it down to the back of the classroom. That really just means I don't have to like squish my butt past people going down the aisle because we all know that's awkward. This is also where I got the idea to do the chalkboard paint on the wall. It just kind of solved the problem of like not having anywhere to put posters or things that make my room look comfortable. And so a question I've gotten from a lot of people is like, what do I do if I'm not allowed to paint on my wall or to put thumbtacks or tape on my wall? They also make products that it's chalkboard-like material, and then it looks like contact paper. You roll it out onto your wall, it adheres to the wall, and you can write on it very simply. And so I just think that with a little bit of ingenuity, talking with your friends, a little bit of research or look on Pinterest, you can find a lot of solutions to a lot of these so-called problems that helps you to like maximize your room or your situation instead of just feeling limited by it. What I'm not trying to do here is like, I can't possibly answer every single question, right? Or I can't speak to every single situation that everyone has. And I'm under no illusion, I feel like I say that a lot, but I'm under no illusion nonetheless that you are dealing with things that seem out of your control. And my answer to that is, 1, I think it's really, really useful to make a small band of teachers that you surround yourself with. Maybe that's 1 or 2 people, maybe it's 5 or more. But what that will do is give you a group of people to be able to like complain about your situation, but then also to come up with a positive answer for your situation. It's real easy to get into that teacher lounge mode, complaining about kids or complaining about the school.
It was his gym uniform. I mean, how hard can it be?
Yeah, he was in my class for years. Bad kid.
Yeah.
Type B personality.
Yes.
Oh, tell me about it. He's never returned a library book on time. Not once.
I buy that.
Not once. What a jerk.
Hey, you guys talk about something else other than school when you're in here?
I think you definitely need a space to let go of some of that stuff, but then it's what are you gonna do with it afterwards? If you live in that place, nothing's ever gonna get better. So use those people to kind of help you come up with some ideas, because honestly, a lot of times people that are a little bit removed from our situation can speak to it with a little bit more certainty because the problem's not right up in their face. They're a step back. They can survey the land a little bit easier than you might be able to. Also, I think there's a lot to say about asking for forgiveness over permission a lot of times. There are things that I've done in the past that I did not ask for permission for, but they came off so well that the school actually celebrated it after the fact. Like the time that I covered my entire classroom in Camden with bulletin board paper, and then I made the set for Romeo and Juliet in my room. That used up a lot of bulletin board paper, but was it awesome? Yes. Did the kids love it? Absolutely. Do they still talk about it to this day? Or there's advice that I could share with you that maybe I shouldn't say out loud, but I'll say it anyway. A lot of times, and I apologize about this, I put all that stuff off. I put the emails off, I put the paperwork off because this job is really always about the students. And so if the student needs me, if they need to talk with me, if they need extra time after school or before school, when I was planning on doing that paperwork, I'm willing to stop what I'm doing. And one of the great things I learned from my principal in these last 6 years is that whenever you speak to him, he stops everything he's doing and he acts like you're the only one in the room. And I really, really have taken a lot from that, and I try and do it as best as I can. So if a student comes in and needs to speak to me, I drop everything. I stop everything that I'm doing and try and give them that time that they need, because it's generally not as much time as you think. But that might mean that emails got pushed off, or grading got pushed off, or some other really, really important task you didn't get to. And I just think it's important to remember that you have the power to do those things. The success of your day is largely predicated on what you are deciding to do and not what other people are telling you to do. They could tell you to do all kinds of things. What are you actually going to do is up to you. Bars. Before I go, I just want to say, if you want to learn more about this sort of topic, there's a really great TED Talk that came out a few years ago by Phil Hansen. This guy, Phil talks about this idea of embracing the shake. And so I'll link that in the description box below. And then also, if you have any specific questions, or there's a specific issue you're dealing with at school, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below, or you can email me or DM me. I'd love to continue the conversation. I'd love for this to be a place where we can kick off that conversation and really help you and bring value to your actual needs. And maybe it's not even me that answers. Maybe someone else. Go ahead and read other people's comments below and offer them some advice as to what they're dealing with. I mean, I've been teaching for long enough, but someone with 30 years experience might be able to speak to your particular situation with a little bit more authority than even I could. So again, thanks guys. Peace.